What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another My Week With video. So this week I've been driving the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. And so I really enjoyed off-roading the TRD Pro back on the launch event earlier in the spring. And it was a lot of fun, and I will link that video at the end of this one if you want to hear all my thoughts on what this is like off-road. This week I did not take it off-road. That's not really my thing. And so it's a lot of fun to do off-road, but you know, not something that I'm an expert in or qualified to honestly critique. But what I can talk about is what this is like as a daily driver, because that's what I did. I lived with this for a week, just did my usual driving, drove to the airport and back, did errands, those types of things. And for that kind of driving, this thing is fantastic. I mean, the amount of power that you have, it's so much fun, especially if you're someone who just is coming out of an old TRD Pro and never had a lot of horsepower or performance at all. This is going to feel like a rocket ship. I mean, and even if you are used to faster vehicles, this is still going to feel really fast. I mean, you have the most torque in the segment here, 465 pound-feet, along with 326 horsepower, and this thing is so quick and feels so good. And combined with, not only just the turbo, which on its own is, makes for a lot of great low-end grunt, but then having the electrification as well to give you a little bit of an instant boost too, really helps this thing to just feel so strong all the time, no matter, what RPM you're at, what kind of speeds you're at. It always pulls like a freight train, and it feels really good. And I have not reviewed all of the competitors of this, but compared to like the Canyon AT4X that I have reviewed, this certainly feels faster, because those again are just relying on the good old turbo and also a little bit less power. But this thing, I mean, it is so quick. And so, if we're looking at it in a vacuum, again, you just want a TRD Pro, you want a Toyota, this is going to just be a fantastic upgrade as far as TRD Pro fans goes. But unfortunately, I do have some complaints here that I noticed during my week with the Tacoma TRD Pro. So there's one big one, which I'll get to in a minute, but some of the smaller, more minuscule stuff, these IsoDynamic performance seats, is this really cool thing, and had a lot of promise with these little dampers you have there whenever you're sitting in the seat, that's supposed to even out the bumps and all that. And at least to me, it doesn't do anything. Now, there's little knobs you can change in the back. I don't know if maybe the settings aren't right. I have really no clue, honestly, how these seats work. I haven't seen a lot of good info on these seats, but what I can say is, the way this vehicle was delivered to me, I noticed no help from the seats at all. I still feel every bump in the road. You still feel very much like you're driving a body-on-frame truck. I mean, and even you can feel the rough ride from these tires. I mean, you're really constantly being vibrated driving this thing, honestly. And so, I was hoping maybe this seat would smooth some of that out a little bit. And if you're envisioning, some type of semi-truck like, experience with some floating seat or something, it really, again, to me, does absolutely nothing. I mean, these are great seats. I love the bolstering on them. They're soft, they're comfortable. They have the heating and the cooling. That all works great. I mean, they're fantastic seats otherwise, but just, all this fancy stuff on the back, but making it seem like it's, this really impressive thing. And to me, they overpromise and underdeliver. Thankfully, it just comes standard. There is no option package for it, so you're not paying extra for them if you do get them. But, it's just something that we will see. Maybe they'll refine it and it'll make more of a difference in the future. But for right now, it just seems like a cool marketing gimmick and not much more. Again, just from my experience, I could be wrong, but that's just the way it's come off to me. Another little minor interior thing that I don't love, and this I guess applies to all Tacomas that I just noticed this week, is these cup holders. These cup holders, if you actually need to bump out these little plastic parts, they're designed the exact opposite way, where the hinge is on the bottom, not on the top. And so what that means is trying to shove my travel mug into this cup holder, which fits, but you have to get these little things moved out of the way. It does not want to go in. I had to shove it down super hard to actually get my mug in there. And every single time I'm pulling it out to drink, putting it back down, having to sit here and use Superman force to push it back into the cup holder, just seems like a bad cup holder design. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Surely they've tried larger travel mugs and stuff in these, and I don't know, to me it's just not a good experience. I'm not sure how that ended up making the final cut here, but you know, a minor thing I suppose, but just keep that in mind. Maybe there's a little aftermarket thing or something you can do to permanently push these back or something, but you know, try it with your own mugs, see what you think before you buy one of these. But to me, that's a little thing that did irk me. But the biggest letdown of this vehicle this week was the fuel economy. So, you know, the great thing is this is hybridized, and it does do a good job of shutting down the engine whenever you're coasting and doesn't need that power. It does turn it off a lot, and it even does very slight minor accelerations. And you know, you can, in parking lots and stuff, you can maneuver without the gas engine kicking on ever so slightly. Again, anything more than a slight throttle input is going to kick on the gas engine. It's not quite as capable as regular Toyota hybrid systems, which often let you do a little bit more electric driving, but it was still shutting down the engine a good bit. And so I was hoping to get pretty decent fuel economy. These are rated at 22 mpg in the city, 24 on the highway, and 23 combined for the TRD Pro version. And yet in my driving here, which by the way, I would say was a little over half on the highway. So I'd say I did a slight majority of my driving on the highway, which should have given me, you know, a pretty decent fuel economy figure here. But according to the trip computer here in the car, and I reset it and everything before I started this week, I'm getting 17.4 mpg. So, you know, typically in my driving, I do get 1 to 2 mpg less than the city rating on average. So I was, you know, thinking, okay, maybe I'll get, you know, 20, maybe even 19, be fine. 17 and a half, I don't know. To me, if you do get the same kind of fuel economy that I got here, then that washes away any kind of fuel economy advantage that the Tacoma TRD Pro has over its high-performance competitors. Because when I initially reviewed these, I was like, well, you're going to get better fuel economy. That'll save you a little bit of money, even though you're paying a price premium for the Tacoma versus, you know, the Ranger Raptors and the Colorado ZR2s and all that. And again, there's other perks here, having the extra performance and, you know, the bigger screens. There's other things for sure to justify the price premium of the Tacoma, but now I can say that, at least in my experience, better fuel economy is not one of the perks of this. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd get pretty similar fuel economy, maybe give or take 1 or 2, but you know, it's not an appreciable difference versus, again, if this actually delivered what it was promising with the EPA, at least, you know, of mid-20s fuel economy or low 20s, then it'd be a whole lot easier to, at least in my mind, say, okay, well, this is the one that's better on gas but has no compromise with lots and lots of power. And again, you still have great power, but just don't expect good fuel economy out of this. And again, everyone's mileage will vary depending on your driving and all that. But again, I wasn't hammering on this thing. I wasn't off-roading it. I wasn't flooring it everywhere I go. I was just driving to the airport and back on the highway. I was just doing relaxed around town, errand running, things like that. I mean, like right now we're coasting down this hill and the gas engine's completely off. I mean, that's kind of why, I mean, I was like, oh, I'm doing pretty good here, you know, it's turning the gas engine off a lot, I'm getting, you know, some better efficiency and stuff, but in reality, I'm not really getting any kind of benefit, at least as far as the trip computer is concerned. And the final little complaint that I do have to say is that you're paying the Tacoma taxes with this as well. You know, this one, as tested, is $65,895, which again is comfortably more expensive than all the competitors, except for maybe the Canyon AT4X, depending on how you have that one configured. But you know, it's a lot of money, and you know, typically, historically, Tacomas hold their value much better than most of those competitors, but we've never had a Ranger Raptor before in the States. Maybe that will hold its value a little bit better than an average Ranger. I would like to think so, at least. So, you know, that's kind of a debatable thing as well here, because, you know, we also don't know with this new gen Tacoma if they're going to hold their value quite as well. I'm assuming they will, but that's just an unknown right now. And again, you know, it's something that maybe would be an advantage over the Chevy and the GMC, which most likely will depreciate more than this does. So, you know, it's kind of an investment in a way as well with paying the premium for the Tacoma, but it's just there's a premium there to be paid, and unfortunately you're not getting that back with better fuel economy, at least in my experience. You know, you're not getting it back with these unique seats or anything. You're just paying a premium for the extra performance and the Toyota legendary reliability, and, you know, the TRD Pro's you know, unique little perks here that it does have over those competitors in a few different ways. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're just someone looking to upgrade to a new TRD Pro out of the old one, again, you're going to be very happy here as long as you don't have any complaints about the price or the fuel economy. you know, it's going to, again, be an enormous improvement, a great upgrade. Just having so much power is a lot of fun. And having it combined with the off-road capability here is just going to be a blast. Like I said, these are hilarious fun off-road. I was able to put it in rear-wheel drive and get the back end loose whenever I had these on a dirt motocross track. And I mean, it's a blast for sure. So, you know, I'd certainly still love these. It's just a little bit harder to justify these days with more competitors, more so than we had, you know, before the Ranger Raptor existed and things like that here in the States. So make of it what you will, but regardless, in a vacuum, I still really like the TRD Pro Tacoma. It was a really fun thing to roll around in for the week. And yeah, that's all of my thoughts here on it. But let me know your thoughts on the TRD Pro in the comments below. Huge thanks to Toyota for providing me here with the Tacoma TRD Pro to review for you guys today. Yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.